All right, I think we're live. All right, guys, so thanks for joining us. I know we are almost an hour later than the scheduled time. We had some serious, crazy technical difficulties.
There was a bat came in here.
Not really, but it was a gremlin. Got up in my, my screen isn't working. Another screen wasn't working. Yeah, it was just insanity. And,
Yes.
but we're here. We made it. We're pushing through. And, yeah. So, thanks for watching. We're covering Loki episode 1, Glorious Purpose. And, yeah, that was a horrible Loki impression.
I mean, Loki before... Wait, what is his name? Oh, crap. This whole entire time, I've never known the actor who played Loki's name. Ooh.
Tom Hiddleston, man.
Yes, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
I mean, before Tom Hiddleston would have been fine.
Tom Hiddleston is actually really good at accents.
I know. Wait, did he have an accent in Kong?
I think he was just American, maybe.
I think he was just American.
He played, I just went blank. A country singer, American country singer in a biopic.
What movie? Whose biopic?
Who's like the guy, the country singer? Like Tear in My Beer.
George Strait?
What? No, that's not George Strait.
Oh.
Older.
Older?
Yeah.
Johnny Cash?
No, older.
Nope. I'm out.
Yeah.
As far back as I go.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. I'm not a country music guy, but yeah, he's really good. Anyways, we're so distracted trying to get into this. So thanks for joining us. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos and when we actually join the live stream. So
Yes.
we appreciate it.
We do.
And don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.picturesno.com.
That's my turn.
Warming up them lungs.
Here we go. I'm sorry for everyone that sound in your ear or face, however you're watching this. But this is your spoiler alert. We're talking about Loki in this video. This is the best as you're going to get. I'm trying to do Thor, but it's not working. Maybe it is working, I don't know. But like I said, if you haven't watched episode 1, don't stop it. Pause this. Go watch it. Come back here so we can talk about Loki. The hammer's not coming to me. Brother. Oh, yeah. You have been warned. Okay.
Yep. Spoiler alert. Official. All right. So, so episode 1 of Loki, and I thought it was an amazing first entry.
It was fun.
I thought it was great.
It was really good.
Like, it actually felt like I enjoyed WandaVision and I enjoyed Falcon the Winter Soldier, but I guess maybe just because it's Loki and we've seen him so much from the very beginning, it felt more connected to me for some reason. Like it was actually part of I was watching on the big screen.
I mean, yeah, like that.
More cinematic, I guess.
That same train of thought, but it's like the other two, they came after like the first Avengers. Like, this guy was the villain of the first Avengers.
OG.
And, he's had a storied history with the original crew this whole entire time. So, he's the original villain who gets the show. Yeah. That's what it is. And, they had to use some of those scenes from Endgame, but kind of more from his perspective.
Maybe that's why it felt so connected, because it literally led directly into... Because WandaVision, it seems like, WandaVision was like, 4 weeks or something after the snap? Or not the snap, the blip.
The blip, yeah.
And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was like 6 months. So I guess it felt a little more distanced, but this was immediately...
Yeah, it was right in there.
And it's addressing a lot of the issues that we've or questions we've had of, like, what happened with the timeline and all this kind of stuff. Cap going back, and that was supposed to happen, apparently.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. All right, cool. Whatever person who wrote this.
Yeah. So the writer of this is the same one that wrote the final draft of Multiverse of Madness. So we might be seeing some direct correlations in that tie into WandaVision and all that stuff. However, I will address this: the whole Mephisto thing.
Hilarious.
Like, even name dropped Nightmare. Like,
I was like, y'all doing this to me again? Again, son? Really? This is how we're starting episode 1, huh?
So I want to say it was the director addressed this directly, because somebody asked, was like, hey, we've seen in the trailer that stained glass window of the devil, and then of course the devil of the Marvel Universe is none other than Mephisto, and we were all on the Mephisto train during WandaVision. Or you were on the Nightmare train. You never got off the Nightmare train.
Never got off the Nightmare, and I'm still on the Nightmare train until it's not Nightmare.
Yeah, and it might be, but so apparently WandaVision and Loki were all filming. They were all filming around the same time, and unconnected, as far as they're saying that is unconnected. The stained glass was only meant to reference Loki in the
His full getup.
Yeah, in the fact that Loki as a Norse god is like the Lucifer of that mythology, and his horned helmet is like Satan, not satanic, but
there is
and he fell from heaven, and he wanted to rise to the throne and all that. He's a Lucifer type.
Say this, but there is an old comic way back when where Loki does actually become the devil and goes by Lucifer. But there's a lot of like Easter eggs and nods in this episode. Not even nods, they're just like straight up saying it. If you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, you did it.
Yeah.
Like the first scene of when he gets dragged into the TVA. Yeah, I want to say TMA, but I'm like, what's TMA? But with
TMC.
Yeah. Oh. But into the TVA. Yeah, I said it right.
Yeah.
And behind him, because this is all I've seen on my feed, and this is all I keep I stop it, look at it every time. Where Peggy Carter is like walking behind him. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were gonna pull that right out. So yeah, there's a.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, this hasn't been confirmed or denied.
No.
So it's still, this is the new Mephisto.
This is the
well, not necessarily new Mephisto, but this could be an explanation of that they're all variants now, and that whole timeline. Because when they mentioned Phil Coulson, they didn't mention beyond his death.
No.
So
they
Agents of
mentioned
S.H.I.E.L.D.
the moment, and I know the last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they go back in time and they meet Peggy Carter. And
yeah, I mean, her whole series was about her founding S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, which was a great series.
But they take away the things that I love.
Yeah. So I mean, literally, it's so meta, because the whole him showing Loki his life and everything on a film strip is literally like the writers sitting there telling Loki of like, look, you were only created to be a heel.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not supposed to reign. You're not supposed to be on the throne. You're only there to make other people's lives better.
Yeah. To make them the best version of themselves.
Yeah,
Cut to Avenger scene.
That's your glorious purpose.
Wow.
Man, that's humbling.
And then after he, escaped, came back, he kept rolling through the mess to see what was going on, and he got to the end of his strip, and he was like, cool. Maybe I can change. That guy changed, got his neck broke, but he changed, so we'll see.
And I think that was a really cool way to bring 2012 Loki up to speed with current Loki, so we are not kind of confused about, okay, well, the old Loki might have done this or not done this or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So it's basically putting that stamp on, right now he's going to make the same decisions that guy would have made if he was alive still.
Mm-hmm. But he's still the variant, and he can surprise us. But yeah, the whole Peggy Carter thing, so there, like when he steals the little time twister, which is also another Easter egg for, we'll get into that, what the time TVA is and the timekeepers and all, and the time twisters and all that kind of stuff.
All the fun stuff.
So yeah, when he steals it off of Mobius M. Mobius, which is another, it's jam packed with references and Easter eggs and little science geek out stuff. So yeah, when he steals it and he ends up in the hallway and somebody kind of comes through the time door behind him, there the lady is spot on, the blue dress, everything for Peggy Carter.
Yeah, no denying it. So what?
Yeah, so I mean, there are. Literally, they're being retconned in the MCU right now because if you know behind the scenes, there was a power struggle and was it Jeff Loeb was running the TV department and Kevin Feige was running the
MCU.
Yeah, the MCU or the
movies.
The movie department, yeah, basically. And then there was a big boss, but then everything shifted and now Kevin Feige is over everything, which is why now we're getting all the new Disney Plus shows that are saying that the MCU has never before been on TV, and we know that it has to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, but it was always been like that slight brush to it.
Yeah,
never actually just sticking
parallel,
their fingers
like,
in
hey
it.
guys,
which is fine, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's the great thing with all this timeline and alternate variant realities and all this kind of stuff, is that they can crisscross and recast or bring in. I mean, which is like we're getting all these set reports supposedly of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield on set of Spider-Man not Homecoming.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. And of course, they're all flat out denying it. However, it has been confirmed that we're getting Jamie Foxx Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man series and Doc Ock from the OG series, the Tobey Maguire series. What's his name that played Doc Ock? Yeah,
my brain.
He straight up said, and I want to say he said it and it got pulled from the internet or whatever. It was one of those things that we're supposed to say that. He said, so at the end of Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock is sinking inside of his, and yeah, it's sinking in the water. He said it picks up right there. Yeah, so. I mean that's confirmed. That's basically confirmed by the actor himself. And they can deny all day, but I mean,
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we know that we are getting these versions of these characters, and it's not just the same kind of J. Jonah Jameson thing where it's the same actor, but it's a different one. But, I mean, even that casting kind of confirms that it's a variant of the same character. Because even in Loki, when we've got they go through the little Jurassic Park, hey, we're DNA, all that kind of thing.
Yes.
And they show the different variants of the same character. He's got the same attributes, like the bow tie, just in different ways. And
even though he had a cup head, he was still...
Yeah. And there's even like little like brochures where like, so you're a variant, and it shows like the little bathroom style man, and then it shows like other versions, and they've all got different type of head. Like one's a triangle head, one's a block head, and then other stuff like that.
They're all the same.
Yeah,
or supposed to be the same. I thought low-key, I thought it might have been pretty funny if somehow J. Jonah Jameson is a Nexus being, which would just be hilarious. But
yeah, he still picks a Spider-Man. I want him in all universes. That would be great.
So, but with what was her name? The little clock lady. I forgot her name.
Oh, Miss
already.
Minutes.
Miss Minutes.
Yeah. Who was Tara Strong?
Who was Tara Strong?
Of course she is.
But Miss Minutes, when Loki was there in line explaining pretty much everything, like literally like laid it out. Here it is. Yeah, you're ready for the Doctor Strange movie now because we just explained it.
They've already set it up with the Wanda being a Nexus being,
and now we're just waiting on the Nexus event, whatever that may be, because the Nexus event is how the timeline stems into a multiverse. Which, once it does that, it could cause madness. Oh my goodness, what title is that?
And so I guess this is a good time to kind of explain what is going on with the Timekeepers and the Time Twisters. Excuse me.
And the TVA.
Yeah. So basically, at the end of the current timeline, the last living TVA agent, right? Created the Timekeepers, and their job is to keep the sacred timeline in which they were created. Yes. And yeah, if you notice, there's a whole lot of Big Brother like propaganda stuff going on. Like they are this sacred timeline. It is for their own well-being, because if it varies, then they don't exist. If that timeline does not continue exactly the same, they won't be created at the end of all things. So then, but there is an alternate version where the Time Twisters are alternates of them that are coming from the other direction in time that are trying to screw it up. And they talked about that the timelines warred and won out. What they called it was very interesting too, which was they call it the Secret Wars. They said a secret war waged between two timelines that were both fighting for dominance, and then it ended up falling out to the multiverse. And then once the end happened, which also there's a whole lot, because that's also slightly stems into like Marvel's version of the Big Bang Theory of once you get to the end and everything. They kind of got into that with the creation of the Time Stone, or not the Time Stone, Infinity Stones and all that.
Yeah.
Singularities.
And then it all loops back so it can happen again. So everything can be in harmony.
Yeah, just like Owen Wilson's character, Mobius in Mobius, which in science, I mean, if you remember in Endgame, that was how Tony Stark figured out how to do time travel. And it's basically where you just take a ribbon and you twist it so that if you were to travel on one end, you can it's a continuous loop, because it twists around and you never reach the end of it, and you travel the surface of both sides of the ribbon because it's twisted halfway. If you're a visual person, you get it. But yeah, so it's a continuous loop, just like a ring, only it's twisted and you travel both sides and not just one inside or outside. So that is what a Mobius loop is, and Mobius in Mobius obviously is a reference to that. And when he was kind of coming down on Loki as like, dude is an expert, it's like therapist.
He was picking that man apart.
Man, oh, you're just a pussycat. It's like, wow. I had to throw that in there somewhere. But yeah, dude, like he was not, like Loki was so taken down a notch. But anyway, like when he finally like brought it down on him, and he was like, this is the way it happened, the way it will happen, the way it always happens, and it will happen again and again and again. Like their job, the entire place. I mean, we saw, like, we just so happened to walk by this window where we saw how big this thing is.
How big it is.
And all these people.
It's infinite.
Yeah, they were literally created by the Timekeepers just as a bureaucracy to keep the timeline in order. That is their sole purpose.
Sole purpose.
Forever and ever. Like for infinity. That's all they care about. That's all they do. That is their purpose.
They exist outside of time. So it doesn't even matter to them, because they could go to 1858 because that's the only year popped in my head, and then next second go back to 2012 and everything be fine. Huh? But they do.
They're basically time lords. They just go anywhere they want, and
But they're killable. They're definitely killable.
Yeah, and just a slight little, I guess, nerd fact or whatever. The Minutemen are actually in the comics a different faction of timekeepers, but they kind of merged them for the MCU to kind of simplify, I guess.
Make everything just a bit more streamlined.
Yeah.
It's just like how you have any police department. You got your beat cops, you got your detectives, and so on and so forth.
Sheriff's department and your police, your PD. They have the same function. They're just different departments or
yeah. What else was there? What happened? Loki.
Yeah, he broke Loki down.
He broke Loki down.
He broke him down big time.
He made
like everything he cared about with that Tesseract, and that was another thing I was noticing.
Oh.
So I mean, do you remember how powerful? Like they deconstructed everything just in this one episode. Think about it, like just how powerful the Tesseract was in Phase 1.
Yeah.
And it was just like the biggest, baddest thing we've ever seen. And they spent...
Red Skull used it to make weapons for Hydra. Loki used it
melted through the airplane when it fell. Like nobody could hold it.
Loki used it to make a portal to bring the Chitauri through. No one could hold it. I mean, Thanos just like took it, crushed it. Thanks for my space stone.
Yeah, well, because he's another connection to the Eternals, which is coming out soon. And so that's why he was able to hold it, and Star-Lord was
also
able to...
He's half celestial.
He's half celestial, and it almost killed him. Like, I mean, he was able to maintain it with the help of his friends.
Yes.
But that's how powerful they are in our world. Like, they're from the creation of time. But in their timeline, they're freaking paperweights. Like, everyone was literally just touching it and tossing it around like it was just a rock.
It's my theory is because they exist while they're in the timeline, the Infinity Stones are the aspect, like they are that thing of creation, whether it be Power Soul, whatever. But since the TVA exists outside of time, they're like, I don't know what to do. Infinity Stone. I took a screenshot. Of
the drawer.
The drawer. They have a whole bunch of reality stones, a few space stones.
That confirms the theory that because in the comics, even though the Infinity Stones were destroyed, they basically went and grabbed them from other timelines.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they did in Endgame, but alternate versions, and they even swapped some out, which is why they were different shapes and sizes.
Which there was a reality stone that was the size of a small building. But yeah, they're like, even all the Infinity Stones they had in that drawer, I feel like few of them are just from Thanos. Like the ones that he was supposed to destroy, they were actually destroyed. But the other ones, there's a whole bunch of time stones because obviously you get a hold of that, which means it's either a Sorcerer Supreme, because that's what the Eye of Agamotto was in the... Can't see my hand. Agamotto was in the MCU, so either a Sorcerer Supreme is jacking around using that and messing up time.
I mean, in other versions, like Doctor Doom was a Sorcerer Supreme at one point.
They got Reality Stones, which... if there's a villain that I really want them to bring to, and like with all the Reality Stones in that drawer, they could definitely use the Hood, because he used the Reality Stones to just make reality weird and steal stuff, and it was always great. But and then I had like
Disney Plus series.
They're doing everything else, might as well.
I know.
But
it seems like they announce a new one every other week,
right? But they had like one Power Stone in there, 2 Mind Stones, but no Soul Stones, which I also thought was interesting.
Oh yeah, but in the credits there was one on somebody's desk. Yeah, it's like a paperweight.
A Soul Stone? Oh, okay.
Or Mind Stone, Soul Stone, same thing, right? No.
Soul Stone, they had to go to the planet and throw somebody off a cliff.
Oh, that's right. It was the what is that, orange?
Yeah, that's the orange one.
Okay, the yellow one is
the Mind Stone.
Okay.
And it's also the biggest one for some reason, which is the one that goes in the middle of the gauntlet. And the one he has to out of Vision's head. But not always, apparently, because there's 2 of them in there.
Vision had the Mind Stone.
Uh-huh. The Soul Stone, first time was Gamora, second time Scarlet Witch.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and just to throw this out there from the trailers, there's a scene with the purple sky and somebody that has like reddish hair, a female, obviously sitting. A lot of people think that is Black Widow. That is not Black Widow. That is another character or another actress that has been confirmed to be in it, but we don't know who she is. Most likely she is female Loki. And so in the comics, and it's been confirmed, in the comics, Loki has been gender fluid forever and ever and ever. He's a variant. He's got a mischief. He even Odin addressed him as I have my son, my daughter, and the one who is both. And so he just he just goes around. He does what he does.
Does what he does.
And so it is now confirmed in the MCU when we saw his paperwork that he is gender fluid. And so it is most likely that at the very end of the episode, that character where we saw, which is like the Loki variant that is, killing everyone, is most likely female Loki.
Yeah. Female Loki.
Yeah.
Which will be fun. Or there's also
to be honest, all the Lokis that we've seen in the trailers could just be variants.
Lokis, yeah, which would be really fun too. There is another comic line where Loki's born as a human. He grows up, comes into his powers, and he meets a older version of himself who basically continues to fight him all the time and tells him, you're going to grow up and be just as evil as me one day, so I'm going to make sure that happens. Type of thing.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it could be, old Loki running around doing things. But female Loki will be fun.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, so it's... one of the videos I was watching said it was confirmed that we will see Kid Loki as well.
Koki? I'm not.
Loki?
Kid Loki. Okay. Well, I mean, this series is going to... Yeah, I think... Is it just a limited series? Or is it, okay.
I think it's a potential to do a season 2, but it's unconfirmed.
Okay.
And of course, when the season ends, we'll know for sure. They'll, just like they did with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
They'll tell what's coming next.
Yeah. But it's been... So far was just this one episode, just great.
And so many, we could pick apart this episode, so many implications, so many. Just the fact that there is no free will in the MCU. And he's just I choose my own fate. Oh, sure you do. Sure you do.
Kang's wife, future wife. The judge that judged him, that was his wife.
Oh,
yes.
it was what's her name? Gugu Mbatha Ram?
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't,
So yeah, she is actually plucked from another timeline that was destroyed, and she's a princess.
She's a princess in the
but she was plucked
40th century?
She's plucked by Kang, who we haven't even mentioned yet.
Yeah.
Who prominently... potentially one of the timekeepers here is already confirmed to show up in Ant-Man Quantumania, Ant-Man 3 coming up, played by Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country, who is phenomenal.
It's really good.
And dude, one of the timekeepers is purple, and Kang has a purple face.
Or all the timekeepers are all Kang, and they're just the Council of Kang.
Very possible.
And the propaganda, because you said propaganda, because that's really what all this stuff is.
Super propaganda.
So all this propaganda that's happening could just be all the Kangs making sure they are not A, found out, and B, everything's just still chill.
Mm-hmm. And he did make reference to the lizard people, and you can't really tell in the show, but in the comics, one of them absolutely has like a lizard tail.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the scroll?
No.
Yeah, when Loki first walked in, there's a scroll off to the right. Checking it at the desk, too. So I don't know what he did, but it had to be.
Oh, the scroll. I thought you said scroll.
No, the scroll.
Yeah, so scroll, and he was wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah.
So
He did something horrible.
we're just gonna start seeing scrolls pop up everywhere because the Secret Invasion is coming.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like, I don't know how they're gonna do it because
What did he do?
like remember watching during like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we knew that it was the Infinity War.
It's coming up. Yeah.
We knew that was the storyline that they're telling, that they're moving towards. This one, like there's the Secret Invasion, which was a huge one. There's potential Secret Wars coming. There is Young Avengers coming. There is potential Dark Avengers coming.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that are flying right now that could take root, or they could just...
Let Wonder Man show up. Then they're gonna do West Coast Avengers out of the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot going on all at once.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even hit Guardians of the Galaxy yet, because that's gonna be a whole nother thing, I'm sure.
Which was supposed to have already come out like a year ago.
Yeah.
And man, just there's so much happening. It's which is why we're doing shows like this, because you're gonna need some kind of what does Loki tell Thanos? I have some experience as a guide. that's what we're doing. And so I want to kind of name the show instead of every different Disney Plus show that comes out just having, we're doing the Loki show now, but like maybe like Marvel Madness or something where we talk about the MCU Madness or MCU Kazoo. I don't know.
MCU Kazoo.
Just something fun that is like, it's consistent. We're talking about the MCU. And it's easier to follow, and like, okay,
Yeah.
And then we could even do weekly where because we didn't even talk about the Eternals trailer.
Oh, the Eternals trailer. What?
Or Black Widow coming out. Like, there's so much going on that there's going to be, just with the MCU alone, there's going to be more than enough content to talk about and make videos on.
Yep.
Like, we used to do the FOMO show, and we picked like the top three in pop culture every week.
Yeah.
And we'd hit in the MCU when
Every
something,
time.
like
something come out and it just boop, it's there.
And man, I would love to have a side thing where we just talk about DC. DC doesn't. I mean, it's got stuff going on, but
All right, Dylan, hold on. Let me break it down for you real quick. DC has things, but
pipeline.
The TV shows, I don't know who they pissed off, but they are slowly crumbling apart. Like, they missed the... I wanted the second season of Batwoman to be good.
When Green Arrow went away, it seems like everything just started.
Everything just started to crumble, and then like stuff started to come out about certain actors, and they had to fire certain actors. Then actors left because disagreements with the studio. And that's multiple times now. So now it must actually be the studio's fault. The whole Ruby Rose thing, it seemed like it's a toss-up of whose fault it actually is. But yeah, no, when not Firestorm, Heatwave left Legends of Tomorrow because of how the studio, like he said, the studio didn't effing care. He left because of that. Like, Cisco's leaving The Flash. The Flash might end. They had to like pretty.
It's not like Thong Cisco.
Thong Cisco? What?
Thong Song Cisco from the 90s? Okay, never mind. My bad.
Okay.
I know Marvel better. I'm not familiar with Cisco.
And like before, and even after Crisis on Infinite Earths, they set everything up to give us this immaculate, gorgeous universe, but literally a year later, Black Lightning ends. Supergirl's ending this season. I don't know how Batwoman's still on TV.
I give that another season maybe.
They're about to introduce Batwing into the thing.
How are they going to do the Bat family and everybody's leaving?
And everybody's leaving. But like, so there's so much that they could do, but they have been dropping the ball.
Warner Brothers is infamous for putting the cart before the horse and trying to, we want that, and then just not taking the time to plan it properly and just doing it and trying to figure it out along the way, and it just not working out.
And it was, everything was doing fine.
DCU.
Do you know the moment that, like, the DC TV shows are absolute gold? Mm-hmm. The moment where Grant Gustin's Flash was face to face with Ezra Miller's Flash, and I was like, I don't know what else to do. I could die now and be happy. It like acknowledge that these two things exist in the same world, and they created a multiverse, not just with their TV shows, but with the movies as well. Mm-hmm. And then with the
Smallville, everything that came before.
Literally, the Batman movies in the 80s. That show made me cry. Mm-hmm. It was so good. And even like slight tinges here and there in the Snyder Cut, where he was kind of alluding to things like that. And
man, and that's hard with the new Ezra Miller Flash coming out, and they're still playing into that. But where are they going with it? Yeah, we're getting way off topic, but we've got a lot of content that we could cover, and so just hit the bell icon so you know when we...
Dang!
Subscribe if you like. We got a lot to talk about, and you hit us up in the comments too, so we can chat about that.
Yeah.
So back on Loki. Man, yeah, I'm just... I was gonna make a...
Oh, they pulled somebody else from Lovecraft Country. That's the time lady who popped Loki in the mouth the first time. She was also in Lovecraft Country.
Really?
She was what's her face's sister?
She's also from Black Mirror.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
she was the singer lady?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like I
thought she looked familiar.
Well, I had to look at her, but it's because her hair is short and not did up, and she's not wearing dress and makeup. She's like, I'm in kick-ass mode.
Oh, she's like, or the Hunter B-16 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So the Hunter. So the way the TVA. It seems like the way the hunters go out and they see these timelines, and they she had that little readout thing, and it's like 5 points away from going haywire. Like it's so sensitive, so close. And so the hunters go out with a team of Minutemen and try to keep things in order and repair the timeline when things go off or whatever. But of course, the other Loki, the big bad Loki that they're tracking, is purposely drawing things like bringing the modern blue bubblegum to ancient France. And she's all out of bubblegum. She's ready to kick ass.
And this Loki seems dangerous and cunning. More dangerous and cunning than Loki normally is, I guess.
Which Loki? The female Loki? Or the big bad Loki?
The big bad Loki. The Loki they're hunting. Because whoever this...
I'm not sure which pronouns. Gender fluid, I guess they?
Whoever this hooded figure may be that we saw at the end of the episode, they laid down the bait and they ate it up and died for it. And it is... Yeah,
it also seems like there's a whole lot of... a lot of the stuff they do to kind of trim the branches or prune or whatever is kind of like Back to the Future type stuff, where people will... Because in that drawer, there was the most valuable baseball card and a Medal of Honor and things like that. where people will go back in time and try to make money. And they even said that when I don't know why they were in like that year in Oklahoma. I'm not sure if there was anything significant, but he said, oh, somebody probably just had a time machine and came back. So time machines are a thing. I mean, well, I guess we knew that from Endgame, but like I guess physical time machines maybe.
It could be different versions of time machines.
Yeah.
They only discovered one way of time traveling through the quantum realm.
I didn't know if that was just like a reference to the Time Machine, the movie, the movie, but the book.
Yeah. I remember that movie and book.
Yeah, but it's he said that he's probably just a person trying to go back in time and make money or whatever, and he smelled the oil. But obviously the oil was there to burn. Yeah, let it burn.
Let it burn. Loki was also B.D. Cooper.
Yeah, D.B. Cooper.
D.B.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which was, it's kind of like, I mean, it was a good way to explain when and why they get involved and that kind of thing, which also kind of shows how much of a asshole that Thor was before the Thor movie. Like he was kind of right along there with Loki. Like, make a bet and just go screw with their humans.
And also how.
Like, why do they need money?
They don't. He just wanted to do it.
Just because.
Also, how Asgardians age. I mean, we already knew, but it showed it better. Like even still, like Loki was an adult in when did that happen? The 70s, or was it 80s?
50s.
50s?
Was it 50s? I think it was 50s.
They didn't have jet liners.
Yeah, there's a good documentary on HBO Max that we watched because my girls were like, "Oh, what is that? It's mystery," which is pretty cool because like when Heimdall got him and there was only cash, like that's actually all they found of him. It's the only hijacking that they never resolved.
Huh?
Airline hijacking.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. But they're like 5 to 10 people that they believe actually could have been DB Cooper, and there is like sound evidence of like each one. It's kind of weird.
Huh? Interesting. Maybe he. Nah, it's fine. All right. Yeah, that was fun too. What else happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some things are supposed to happen. We already kind of covered that.
Yeah.
If it's in the sacred timeline or not.
So, but which brings up the point of in WandaVision, now knowing because they've threw some of that stuff in there. We said this earlier, but with Wanda being a Nexus being, and we know a Nexus event is what causes the multiverse to start to do that mess. Was WandaVision a Nexus event? A potential Nexus event.
Yeah, because technically in the timeline we are before WandaVision right now.
And she has the Darkhold, and we know she just goes off into a mountain and starts having her astral self do weird magic-y stuff, and then she hears kid voices, and then she's like, oh, let me go deal with these kid voices I hear. So, and that leads into, oh crap, it's Wanda's fault. Because Wanda, we know WandaVision leads into Doctor Strange. We know Doctor Strange is called Madness of the Multiverse. We go back to Loki. Miss Minutes is up there. Yeah, Nexus events cause the multiverse to go into madness. Looks at Doctor Strange, and he's like, what? And then, yeah. So,
yeah.
Yep.
So, I guess this would be a good time to get into Kang, because Kang is also a Nexus being, and there are multiple versions of him, and he exists kind of outside of time and kind of pushes time in the same way. And there was another Easter egg at the very end, that shovel, which was like this futuristic looking thing which they found in Oklahoma, and it had like the glow in the circle or whatever. It was just a shovel, and they said it was from 31st century. So
Kang century?
Who else is from the early 31st century?
Kang the Conqueror.
Kang the Conqueror.
Because
So Kang, I think Kang Watch is the new Mephisto.
okay, I mean, if he's gonna show up in anything else before Ant-Man and Wasp, it's this.
And technically, we've already seen. So he's got a city that he rules. That is, I forget what it's called, but we saw it, Kronos, right?
Yes.
And it was in the last Ant-Man movie, just briefly. It was like in one of these bubbles when Scott was in the
Quantum realm.
Quantum realm. That's it. And it was just like a little Easter egg. When we saw it, a little city in a bubble. That's where Kang lives. That's his city. So technically, I mean, we've seen Kang. I mean, minutely.
Super minutely. But yeah, when I forgot what I was gonna say. You can go. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh, so I mean, Kang is coming.
Kang's coming.
And references to Kang here, he could potentially show up. I mean, Jonathan Majors was announced as Kang a while back, and they're obviously sowing seeds of that in the first episode already. Like we are going to see some stuff happen.
Yes. And then, so Kang's times where he faces the Avengers, we'll just use those. He usually comes back to the past because the Avengers make a decision that have unreversible ramifications on the future, meaning his life as he know it is destroyed.
It messes up his sacred timeline.
That propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was one time he came back to kill just Captain America. There was another time he came back to kill all the Avengers. Yeah, he always comes back to make sure his wife is cool.
His wife. Oh, who is that? The judge.
Who's the judge?
She was the judge. Yeah. So he's the one that rescued her. I don't think we said that before. He's the one that rescued her from the timeline. They fell in love. And it's, I think New Rockstars kind of made this connection where behind her we see the three faces of the timekeepers, and one of them, which we see in the little propaganda video, has a purple face. And I want to say it's the middle one, which is where she's sitting, and she is seated right on his lips.
Yes.
So that could, and to have a character. So I mean, you can obviously tell if a character is going to be important or not by who they cast, and she's obviously going to have more to do with than just sitting behind that desk. I think we see her later on in one of the trailers as well.
Yeah, she'll also be. I'm pretty sure. Oh, we have a viewer. I was like, wait, what is that thing? It's someone watching. Hi, person, whoever you are.
Hello.
But yeah, we're definitely going to see her again in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania because of Kang's there. His wife is not too far behind.
Yeah, of course, all this will be remixed for the MCU and made more streamlined.
Remix Nightmare. Make this other Loki Nightmare. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother thing. It's like the nightmare thing that Agent Mobius wants to get rid of or whatever.
Cause somebody says Nightmare again. I'm going to keep saying it's Nightmare until it's not Nightmare.
Yeah, and I want to say that was like their originally when Scott Derrickson was still helming Multiverse of Madness, that it was confirmed that he wanted Nightmare as the big bad.
You know how scary that'd be? Terrified.
Yeah. But creative differences, and now Sam Raimi is running it. who I mean, you could not have, if anybody was going to take over, that's the perfect
I don't
pick.
have any problems with Sam Raimi. I'm completely fine with the young man. He's not young, but I'm completely fine. I just want Nightmare.
I mean, if okay, so okay, I see his face, but I can't remember. So Sam Raimi directed the original Spider-Man series, right? With Tobey Maguire.
Yes.
And the guy from The Evil Dead cameoed every single time.
Yeah,
Right.
he did. He was also the narrator in the Spider-Man games for like Tobey Maguire. Like,
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell.
Yes, that's it. You did it. I didn't. Yep.
Woohoo! Plucked
Yes.
it from the
Bruce
brain.
Campbell.
Yeah. So, is the Nightmare realm the Evil Dead realm? Since we're dealing with the multiverse of madness and Sam Raimi
I'm
and
down,
Bruce
let's
Campbell is a character,
Yes,
and I mean that's my headcanon, but
I'm down. Give this man money for doing your casting.
dude, if we have Nightmare and it's just Bruce Campbell that's been zombified or possessed, that would be amazing.
It would be great. I'd just give them my money to watch it over and over again. What else is there? We got talked about all the little things that's happening in the background. Loki not being sure if he's a robot or not.
Oh my gosh, that
Oh,
was
we haven't
amazing.
talked about that. Yeah,
That was
Loki
amazing.
it was very funny. There
Yeah,
was,
yeah. Of course, you've got the LMDs, which is like, why would I not know? Is it popular or not popular? But is it normal that people don't know if they're a robot? A lot of LMDs don't, life model decoys, which is canon in the MCU. I mean,
yeah.
they use that a lot in Agents of Shield.
Yeah, Agents of Shield had a whole story arc behind it.
But Tony Stark answered his phone talking to Coulson. This is Tony Stark's LMD, life model decoy.
So yeah, there was more comedy in this than I thought there was gonna be.
Yeah,
But-
the 1/16th movement slap was just like, oh, that was gold.
He thought he was about to really jack up her world, and she's like, oh, okay. This is always cute.
And so immediately, the whole deconstruction of like everything before Endgame is now they're just picking it apart.
We're back
because-
to ground zero.
Yeah, because I mean, so like in story, and a lot of stories have this issue where they come in hot, and you've got the story has to do this. You got to have your highs and your lows, right? And a lot of stories come in hot, and there's nowhere to go. Like they're at the ceiling, and it just
Yeah.
never goes anywhere.
Everybody's got their highest power up. There's nowhere for
Yeah,
everybody
OP,
to get strong.
you know.
Yeah.
But here, it started there, and it was just like, oh yeah, there goes the ceiling, and
Now you're back on the ground.
yeah, I'm excited. Like to take a character like Loki, who was like one of the most intimidating, formidable bad guys of the MCU
Yeah.
before, literally plucked him out of time, and boop, oh, he's just a pussycat.
He's just a pussycat.
Man, Mobius is toying with him. It was.
Maybe he'll go to a dystopian future and we'll get Old Man Barton. Like, I really just want him to go dystopian future. Give me Old Man Barton. Give me Old Man Star-Lord. Give me old... You can't give me Old Man Logan, maybe, but you can try. Give me... Tony's dead. Give me...
We might get a different Tony.
Give me Old Man Tony, who's Tom Cruise somehow, but not really.
No. Do not. I don't want Tom Cruise. Maybe just like a vision of like, oh, other Tonys, and Tom Cruise is in there. That would be a great Easter egg. But please don't cast Tom Cruise as Tony Stark, because it'll become the Tom Cruise show, and he'll.
If it happens, it's my fault. Give me a dystopian future with Old Man War Machine and it's Terrence Howard. Just cause. I don't know. See if he'll come back. I don't know what he's doing right now.
I don't know, Poor guy. He found out he wasn't Rhodey in the paper, just like everybody else. He said, "I was eating breakfast. I saw Don Cheadle cast as Rhodey." And I was like, "What,
man? What you talking about, man? What do you mean I was recast, man?
Next time."
I see. I'm going to go build an empire.
Hustle and flow my way to the top.
He's gonna beat us up. But yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see where they're going with this, and all these implications also leading toward the Secret Wars. Where it could be going. Okay, we could talk about this. Where it could be going. All right, so like you mentioned, they said there was a secret a war that of all the timelines or whatever. So in the comics, Secret Wars was basically a bunch of timelines that got crazy, and Doctor Doom, there was like a variant or alternate timeline where there was basically a god, Doctor Doom, that brought everything together, and they basically, he was like, kind of like how in the DC universe, the game, where they brought everybody together and they did the games or whatever. And they've probably done this several times. In
like
comics.
Injustice?
I guess something like that. Dark. I'm sorry.
Dark Side?
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on.
I'm probably thinking of an episode of Justice League.
Oh, that's
where,
okay too.
Yeah. Where it was like it was like a game master type thing, and he had Superman and Darkseid and all these people fighting. War World type thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, so Doctor Doom basically brought in all these different people, and this is where Black Suit Spider-Man came from originally, right? Mm-hmm. So they basically fought for who would be the prime timeline or the sacred timeline version of themselves. And so that would be a great way to, now we're deconstructing, because I mean, there were some obvious issues with moving forward with where we were at after Endgame.
It was all disheveled.
Yeah, because I mean, you've got the Russos and the writers of Endgame can't even agree on like where Cap went, if he was in an alternate timeline or if he was in the main timeline, and the implications of what that means for Steve Rogers' character, of him just sitting on the sideline and not doing anything.
They could do Steve Rogers Lost in Time, because I mean, Spider-Man cartoons coming back in my head.
Madam Web?
Kind of. But like there was an episode where Spider-Man ended up getting this time machine, and come through the time machine was Red Skull and Captain America, which they hadn't been seen since the end of World War II. Mm-hmm. And like Spider-Man teamed up with Captain America, and they were fighting, and the episode ended with Captain America sacrificing himself, stopping Red Skull, and they end up messing up the machine, and they get lost in time fighting each other literally outside of time again. He could just be a man outside of time.
Yeah, I mean, technically, that could have happened. I mean, we assume. Well, no, we know that he came back as old.
He came back as an old man.
But that would have been interesting for him, because we don't know. I mean, they age slowly, and dude was old.
He was old. But if we know anything from Isaiah Bradley in the MCU, they let him keep his strength. And Captain America had the OG, original, pure blood. Let's not say that.
Yeah, that gets
OG, original.
Did they kind of address that in Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Original, like, came from the dude's, like, syringe himself, had to get in a machine to do it, super soldier serum. So Cap should be able to do a backflip kick and knock someone's teeth out still. Because there's even like old Steve.
But I don't think I will.
I don't think I will. But old Steve Rogers even fights.
Where's it called? Rocky?
No.
Creed?
Other Captain America. What is your
U.S.
name?
agent.
Steve. No.
Stevie Nicks.
Falcon. What is Falcon's name?
Sam Wilson.
There we go. Old Captain America fights Sam. Why was that so hard?
Because I was throwing it.
Yeah, old Captain America even fights Sam, and like, even though Sam's like at his peak condition of being a hero, Captain America is not. He's not a freaking pushover, and he is easily going toe to toe, and he was probably holding back against him. So, but
Yeah, I mean, we don't know where Red Skull went after the Time Stone or the Soul Stone was returned.
we don't know if that frees him.
Or if they actually met face to face.
Hello there, Captain Rogers. Sup? I want to say words, but I can't.
I mean, this is older Cap where he's more. He says language now.
He says language. He probably just didn't say anything, just flipped him off the whole time after seeing him. Or who knows? They sat there and had a conversation.
Yeah, maybe just like old friends. And
Old friends. I hadn't seen you since you disintegrated and went halfway across the universe. But yeah, how you doing, pal?
yeah.
So
Speaking of, I know we're getting kind of out there, but him addressing people as like son of whatever, Laufey son, Loki Laufey son, and they said that like several times, like just to kind of reiterate that in his face, to kind of rub it in his face that he wasn't Odin's son and he was a pretender to the throne.
and not to continue my wife's hack brain theory that Hela and Thor's the adopted one, and Hela and Loki are his actual children, Odin's actual children, because dark hair, green outfit. I like to use knives. I like to use a lot of swords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. You know what would be an interesting twist if I cannot remember her name, Kang's girlfriend, if she was the actual bad guy and the female Loki was actually
Trying to stop her.
Yeah.
Because she figured out the truth
And she
behind
was
everything.
Yeah, and she
that-
was framing Loki. Which would also explain why she was kind of hesitant to let variant Loki
Go
be
with him?
involved.
Yeah. She was straight
She's
no.
like, you got one Loki to
automatic.
deal with.
Yeah. She was straight no the whole time. Huh. That makes sense. Well,
I mean, and that would also color her as a bad guy and connected to Kang and kind of doing his bidding behind the scenes.
and then time breaks because Loki finds out. They come back. They pull back the curtain. You see the guy doing the cranky thing and like, don't look behind the curtain. And then like the TVA ends up getting disheveled and falling apart while that's happening because they're outside of time. Back in the sacred timeline, WandaVision's going on. She finds out who she actually is. She gets the Darkhold, and then that creates a Nexus event because she unlocks the power of the Darkhold. And then, but now the TVA is just trying to hold themselves together, so they can't really answer that, which is why that went on unanswered. And then the multiverse the sacred timeline starts to branch into the multiverse again. And then start branching too much, and then it descends into madness.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we know that it's not going to work out in this show. That something's going to happen and it breaks. Whether that's directly Wanda's fault or if it's because of the shenanigans of this, what's getting blamed on the. I think I'm on board with that theory now. Her character, Gugu Mbatha-Raw's character. I forget who she is.
Also, why doesn't Loki? I would have just pocketed all of the Infinity Stones just cause.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the TVA turns them off for whatever, because even though the TVA turns them off, I would have pocketed them
Could
all.
he handle them all, I wonder?
If they're in his pocket, why don't you tuck their skin? This is literally just me thinking. It's like, what do you have in your pocket? Infinity Stones?
Don't touch them.
Don't touch them. Don't touch them, you'll die. Maybe. Though that goes back to the thing.
Because they had to specially craft the glove, the gauntlet, to be able to handle them all.
But how? That's probably not the first gauntlet they crafted.
No, because he crafted one for
Odin.
yeah. Well, technically,
Odin had the fake one.
The one, yeah, exactly.
But for him to know what it looks like, Odin at some point in time had to have had something similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
And how long has Thanos been trying to do this? I mean, and we could completely go in a variant here and talk about the Eternals and him being a madman on Titan and that connection right there.
Wait.
But we'll hold that off for another time.
The Asgards had... That's a whole nother video, because the Asgards had at least 3 Infinity Stones at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Coast?
Yeah, the dog's trying to get in.
Okay.
So it seems like we are very, very, very potentially working towards Secret Wars, where they can basically just tear everything apart, deconstruct everything, just have fun with it, and not actually worry about, because Feige was so careful to make sure that everything was immaculately taken care of in the process of building the MCU towards Endgame. Now, he can just have fun tearing it apart, and then have Secret Wars and just start from scratch.
Stitch it all back together the way you want to.
Build it up, tear it down, and then start over. Or maybe just retire then and let somebody else start over.
Yep. You could bring yourself another Iron Man if you really wanted to. Mm-hmm. Bring yourself an evil Iron Man. The Avengers versus Iron Man. Bring in superior Iron Man. Let's see what happens.
Yep. And not to mention all the Sony aspect of the Spider-Verse and where that's heading. It looks like it's all tying in, because even though technically the Sony-verse is unconnected, we did get confirmation from Kevin Feige saying that Spider-Man was one of the only heroes that had the ability to swing between universes. So potentially, we will see Spider-Man in the Sony-verse of Marvel characters. We have already seen in the Morbius trailer Vulture from the MCU.
Yeah.
So is that just a version, like an alternate version, or is that from all, it looks like that's him.
That's him.
And we know Spider-Man exists because also in the Sony universe, because even though Venom is on the the West Coast for some reason, and doesn't know that Spider-Man exists and all different creation version and all this stuff.
I think this is my BS moment of the night. I think the reason that they have Venom so far away is just in case it failed. It didn't mess. It did. I don't think they had clearance just yet.
Yeah, and they wanted to have the potential.
Yeah,
I guess.
So.
Yeah, but in the Morbius trailer, Morbius trailer, they went for it. There's a Spider-Man poster in like one of the alleyways, so we know he's there.
He's there.
And obviously we saw Vulture. So, yeah. We know it's happening. It's just they're denying until they confirm.
They want to save that big reveal.
Yeah.
I understand it.
We should be getting a Spider-Man No Way Home trailer anytime now. Anytime now. Remember when they we didn't even talk about the Shang-Chi trailer. So
we sure didn't.
yeah, on Simu Liu, is this the guy that plays Shang-Chi?
I think so, yes.
On his birthday is when they released that trailer. Yeah, which was awesome.
Happy birthday.
Tom Holland's birthday is this week. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's passed already, but that's the internet wants it for Tom Holland's birthday.
I want it for Tom.
And Tom Holland has got some pull. He's the one that saved Spider-Man in the MCU. Like straight up was drunk and called Kevin Feige and dude from Sony and was like, guys.
Most persuasive drunk person on the planet.
Gotta give people what they want.
I know what the people want. They want more Spider-Man. They want more pictures of Spider-Man. And he falls over.
Please, I want to play Spider-Man forever. I couldn't blame him. I'd cry if it worked.
Do I have anything else? I don't know. You have anything else?
I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else.
I'm super excited about where this series is going, and
At some point in time, we stopped talking about Loki. I don't know when it was.
because it's so connected to everything else, and I guess that's why it feels so big, because the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, like, were these compartmentalized stories. Mm-hmm. Loki is literally I mean, it's compartmentalized outside of time, but it literally is connected to everything, implications for everything, and they've already said that it will have implications going forward, or it'll change everything.
That's good.
Yeah, lots of timey-wimey nonsense going on.
Lots of timey-wimey.
Super fun. Super excited. There's a comment. I can't read it. That looks like John Capone. That's my boy. Brother from another mother. So, hey, John.
Hey, John. Hey, John.
What do you say? Yes? Or something like that?
He said, yo.
Yo. So, I think we're about to sign off. I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of a thing myself.
Yeah. But next week, things will be back on time. But so live streaming,
Yes.
and we will be 9:00 sharp on Thursday. So tune in, and we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching, and tell your friends, and we'll chat it up, and we'll hang out, and we'll talk. And if you have any ideas for what we could call the Marvel show, like,
Drop them on the thing somewhere.
yeah, let us know. I've got a couple
Instagram.
things written down. I kind of wanted to rhyme and have like this alliteration thing. I've got this thing for,
This guy.
but
I mean, we could just, I don't know. Let's put it to a vote.
I mean, it was like MCU hullabaloo. Hullabaloo.
1965, their slang back, please.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of leaning toward, because, all right, so there's already like Marvel Madness is like a Marvel thing, and then Marvel Mania is a thing. But I'm leaning towards like MCU Kazoo is kind of fun.
MTU
MCU Kazoo. It rolls off the tongue. It's kind of fun. It's silly. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards it. But tell me what you think. MCU Kazoo.
MCU Kazoo.
I mean, the marketing, the T-shirts, a kazoo. That's
NDC Hullabaloo.
yeah. We can have hero-colored kazoos.
Hilarious. Also, you know what I really want to do? Play
a
Marvel's
kazoo?
Champions. What?
Yes, Andrew. We want to play Marvel's Champions.
Please.
I think Andrew is just working his tail off right now. So
He
shout
is.
out to Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew.
He's been on the FOMO show with us before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew knows his stuff, man. I really want to get Andrew again. But yeah.
All right.
All right,
That's it.
that's it. Signing off. Once again, thanks for thanks for watching. I think we already said this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos. And yep, chat it up. Let us know what you think. And we'll see you next time. This is Dylan.
This is Quinn.
And peace out.